All right, you good. You live.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 2 of the NFL right here at NSN, Nature Sports Network. This is one of our new shows. We got a bet show going on. Nature's Over and Unders. So, and our host for this show, Money Row, of course, Uptown Vido, and I am their co-host, Big Star. Yes, sir. So, we had, starting off on our bidding show, we didn't start it last week, we started it this week. So,
We lost you, big son. We lost you. Can we get you back up?
we have none other than the high-flying Kansas City Chiefs and the Charged-up Chargers going at Thursday Night Football. Of course, they're at Arrowhead, Kansas City, and the Chargers are up 3-0 at the current moment. We're still in the first quarter. So, I just want to give a couple of rundowns of last week's scores. And, give a little layout to this week and who will be playing each other. And more importantly, who will win and who will lose. So, starting last week, Thursday Night Football, we had the Bills and the Rams meet up in the season opener. And that was, it looks like the Super Bowl rematch. We have the Bills and the Rams. And for all y'all know, my man Josh Allen just, quite frankly, balled out. They beat the Rams.
We're going to get Big Son back. We lost him for a quick second. Should be able to get him back in it.
Also,
there we go.
We also have the Eagles who faced the Lions, and the Eagles came out on top in that one, 38-35. A lot of people may say that the Detroit Lions gave that game away, and I can kind of agree with them on that, but also I have to say that the Eagles' running game is on another level right now. They had 4 rushing touchdowns out of that whole game, and it was done by 3 different running backs. And one of the backs wasn't even a running back, he was a quarterback. That was Jalen Hurts. He had 17 carries for 90 yards. 17 carries for 90 yards. Miles Sanders also had 90 plus yards. He had 13 carries, 96 yards. And Jalen Hurts to go along with them with that rushing TD, he had 18. He was 18 for 32 and 243 yards. No touchdown, no interception. Now, tell you right now, Jay, you can't do that against Washington, baby.
Try to get Big Son back up. Oh. Fidgeting around on the signal to see if we can get Big Son back up.
Yeah, he had Did you get the breakdown from the Eagles and Detroit?
No, I didn't. I didn't get that breakdown yet.
Okay, the breakdown for the Eagles and Detroit, that was the Eagles scored 38 points to win that game. Detroit only scored 35.
Oh, breakdown, you got a catch.
Miles Sanders had 96 rushing yards on 13 carries. Jalen Hurts had 90 yards on 17 carries. Gainwell had 20 yards on 5 carries, and Scott had 10 yards on 4 carries. Now, note all of those guys had a touchdown. Sanders, Hurts, Gainwell, and Scott all scored rushing touchdowns. So that's big, knowing that they have a rushing game like that they can turn to and look to for points. But what I say to that is you're going to change that dynamic when you come see Washington, whenever that is. Anywho, next game, 49ers Bears. Bears came out on top, 19-10. Trey Lance didn't look that good in that game. He was 13 for 28, 164 yards, and an interception, no TDs. He also rushed the ball 54 yards, 13 carries. Deebo Samuel had 8 rushes, 52 yards, and a touchdown to go with that. Justin Fields looked pretty decent, not great. 8 for 17, 121 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. On to the next game. Next game, the Steelers and the Bengals. They went to OT. And I believe that was the only overtime game that we had last week. Steelers and the Bengals went to overtime, and the Steelers came out on top. Mr. Trubisky was their quarterback now. He was 21 for 38, 194 yards, and a touchdown. Was the reason why they lost that game. The Patriots and the Dolphins. Ooh, the New Look Dolphins smoking hot out the building. 20-7, they beat the Patriots. And Matt Jones was 21 for 30, 213 yards, 1 CD, 1 interception. With Damian Harris being his leading receiver. I mean, not Damian Harris. Myers being his lead receiver with 4 catches, 55 yards, no TD. Damian Harris leading rusher, 9 carries, 48 yards, no TD. On to the next game, where we had let's see. Where we had the Browns and the Panthers matching up. With Baker Mayfield went home. So we go over to the main man, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was 16 for 27, 235 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Christian McCaffrey did not look too good. He had 10 carries, 33 yards, but he did have a touchdown. Robbie Anderson was the leading wide receiver for the Panthers, 5 receptions, 102 yards, and a TD to go with that. So, Baker Mayfield went home. Baker Mayfield, old team, came to his house, and they left his house with a win. 26-24 over the Panthers. The Browns won. We had our first tie, ladies and gentlemen, and let me correct that. It was the second game of overtime that we had, but it was a tie. Nobody won that game. The Colts and Texans ended up in a tie. Falcons and the Saints, close one. Saints topped the Falcons in a close one, 27-26. Ravens blew the Jets out, 24-9. Wentz had four touchdowns, which was 1 touchdown less than that man Patrick Mahomes. So, started out with on a pretty good note for the season with 4 TDs, but he did have 2 picks, but he managed to still win the game. On to the next game, Vikings and the Packers. The Vikings have beat the Packers 23-7, and we know why. Because that boy Jefferson ran all over them guys. They could not stop him. He was all over the field catching passes that should have been caught. Anywho, on to the next game. Giants and Titans, 21-20. Giants topped the Titans. The next game, the Raiders and the Chargers. Chargers topped the Raiders, 24-19. And in that game, Derek Carr almost had 300 yards. He was 22 for 37, 295 yards, 2 TDs, and 3 interceptions. In my eyes, Derek Carr's the reason why they lost their game. You may think different. If you have any different comments, put them in the blog. Devontae Adams was 10. He had 10 receptions for 141 yards and a TD in his debut with the Raiders. Even though they lost, he looked pretty good. Justin Herbert.
You got the Chargers up 10-0. We're trying to get you back in, big son. Let's try to get you back in. Let me see what we got here on the
All right, back on.
Got you back on.
The next game was the Chargers. The next game was the Chargers and Cardinals. The Chiefs topped the Cardinals 44-21. We all know what happened in that fashion right there. I mean, Patrick Mahomes just basically stepped on the field, drew his guns, and got to shoot. He was 30 for 39, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. His leading wide receiver was Travis Kelce, 8 receptions, 121 yards to go in the TD to guard the building. All right. Then you had the Cowboys get their heads stomped by the Buccaneers, 19-3. Dak was injured and won't be back until week 6. The Broncos and Seahawks ended the week out in Monday night fashion, and Russell Wilson went to his old place of business and visited the ninth man and came away with what they lost. So now we are in the new week. Like I said, we have the high-flying Kansas City Chiefs and the charged-up Chargers on Thursday Night Football. Now, me personally, I think the Chargers will win this game because I think that the Chargers have a little bit of thing called kryptonite that they'll use well against the Kansas City Chiefs, in my eyes.
Okay, I agree with you, Big Son. Well, right now, the Chargers are up in this one, 10-0. So, you might be on to something there. You definitely might be on to something there. You got Big Son in the
I mean, when you what I want to say, when you have your foot on the gas, as the Kansas City Chiefs have had their foot on the gas, 44 points. 5 touchdowns. Like, that's a lot of footage you put out there for someone to watch. So they're going to catch on to something that you were doing last week in hopes to get a win. So I'll say to you teams, I may have not liked the way the Washington football team started out last week. Kind of slow, but in retrospect, they didn't put a lot of film out there for people to see and get used to them knowing their better plays, their bad plays, you know what I'm saying? So, in that respect, from Scott Turner, I can say I like that. So a lot of people don't have a lot of film to see a lot of your good plays or bad plays or those therein that you ran in the game. So I can say that I like that about Ron and Scott last week, even though I thought we could like the fact we didn't show people a lot. I think that might be a little bit of a hindrance for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the reason why I say such thing because, I don't know, I think they're seeing the footage, knowing that their play was coming up. They knew this play was coming, so I think the result that happened was the result of them knowing the play. So take your foot off the gas a little bit, baby. It's a long season.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, what we like to do on this here Thursday is we like to run down, give y'all some numbers to going into your betting week. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to start from the top of the landscape with Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. Let's talk a little bit about this game here. Let's talk about how they performed under the spread, against the spread, overs, unders, whatever we can get for you, we're going to have for you. So let me start it off. Okay, Mahomes is going deep. Man falls. You might have a pass interference. Okay, you got an interception for the Chargers. I don't know if it's a flag. It is a flag on the play. Might be coming back. Okay, back to Tampa Bay. Okay, Tampa Bay in this game. First, what we like to do is go through your injuries, look at your injury reports. That way, you know who's even going to be on the field. How could you bet on somebody when you don't know who's going to be on the field? So let's start with the injury report for Tampa Bay. Julio Jones is questionable for Sunday against New Orleans. It's an undisclosed injury. Wide receiver Mike Evans is also on the injury report, but he's probable for Sunday's game versus the New Orleans Saints. I mean, this is Thursday, so, you know, this might change. But they have him listed as probable for Sunday. Leonard Fournette is also on the injury report, but they have him listed as probable for Sunday as well with a hamstring injury. Chris Godwin is out indefinitely with a hamstring injury on that game. And also Russell Gage, the wide receiver for Tampa Bay, is also on the injury report with a hamstring. But he's questionable. So you got a lot of receivers for Tampa Bay on the injury report right here. We know that the Saints have had some success against Tampa Bay over the last couple games. So that may be a factor in this one here. So let's move along to some more stats when it comes to this game here. We'll stay on the Tampa Bay Bucks. We're on the Tampa Bay Bucks. We're going to give you the rundown on Tampa Bay so far on this Thursday. Might give you some insight going into the rest of your week and your gambling week. Tampa Bay Bucks are 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 games. Tampa Bay Bucks are 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games. Tampa Bay are 1-7 in their last 8 games against New Orleans, though. You know, Tampa Bay is 5-0 straight up in their last 5 games on the road. The total has gone over in 4 of Tampa Bay's last 5 games when playing on the road against New Orleans. So it normally goes over. Tampa Bay is also 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games against opponents in the NFC. Tampa Bay is also 8-2 in their last 10 games against opponents in the National Football Conference South Division. So they're 8-2. Guess who the 2 is? It's New Orleans. You guessed it. So now keeping it going. The total has gone over in 7 of Tampa Bay's last 9 games in September. So Kansas City, Travis Kelce with the catch down to the 9-yard line. Kansas City is threatening, but you do have a flag on the play. I don't know if this was coming back. Offsides, defense, number 7. So this is not coming back. Joey Bosa with the offsides. Sorry, number 97. Joey Bosa with the offsides. The Chargers are up 10-0 right now in this one, but Kansas City is threatening. Now, back to the New Orleans Saints. So, in this game, let's look at their injury report, see who New Orleans will have on the field, projectively, and who won't be on the field for them. This week on the injury report for the New Orleans Saints, Patrick Mahomes is scrambling to stop you there. Oh, touchdown, Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes with a great play that only he can make on the scramble. Jameis Winston for the New Orleans Saints is probable Sunday versus the Tampa Bay Bucks with his back injury, but he is on the injury report nonetheless. Running back Dwayne Washington is questionable versus Tampa Bay with a hamstring injury. Alvin Kamara is also on the injury report, but he is probable for Sunday against the Tampa Bay Bucks with a rib injury. Forrest Lamp, injury reserve. He's undisclosed injury. Traquan Smith, the wide receiver, is questionable for Tampa against Tampa Bay Bucks. And you also have cornerback Paulson Adebo. He's questionable with an ankle injury against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Kaywan Baker is eligible to return in week 7 from a suspension. And so you have 2 wide receivers, a running back, 2 running backs, and a quarterback, and a cornerback also on the injury report for the New Orleans Saints. So that's pretty much their skill positions on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense seems to be healthy for the most part. Now, when you go down to the New Orleans Saints and you run down their history and things about them against the spread, New Orleans Saints is 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 games. The total has gone under in 6 of New Orleans' last 8 games. New Orleans Saints are 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games. The total has gone under in 4 of New Orleans' last 5 games at home. The total has gone over in 4 of New Orleans' last 5 games when playing at home against Tampa Bay. New Orleans is 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games at home. In their last 5 games against the NFC. New Orleans is 15-3 straight up in their last 18 games against the NFC South Conference division. So that's in their division there. The last 18 games, they are 15-3. That's a great record. New Orleans is 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 games in September. New Orleans is also 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games played in week 2. So just to give you a rundown on that game, you got, pick your game, pick your team, baby, pick who you like. So you got the Saints and the Bucks. Right now, most of the people are betting with the Bucks, of course. But you never know how this will change before game time. Saints seems to have a good position on this. The spread is 2.5 also. I didn't even mention that. The spread is 2.5 in this one. The over-under is 44.5. So that's that game for this week. Quick rundown. What you think, Big Son, after listening to the stats and the numbers and the injuries?
After listening to the stats, and the numbers, and mainly the injuries, I think this game will go over.
Over the 44.5?
It has the last 2 times. Yeah, the only reason why I say I think it is because Jameis is not going to play. You said Jameis is hurt, right?
He's playing. He's probable. He's on the injury report, but he's probable.
Oh. Okay, if Jameis plays under, if he doesn't play, I say over. Oh.
Great analogy. Well, I think with the skill position players hurt, I think you never know. Because skill position players being injured, going against healthy defenses, defense should get an advantage there. So the way that I always like to judge it, I like the 50-50 thing. So if I was going to say on that over and under, hey, what are the chances that injured receivers are going to score 20, 25? I guess what you need, 21, 21. That's 42. Or was it 25, 21? I don't know. I don't think they make it. I think it goes under. Because of the injuries. But you still do got Tom Brady and Jameis Winston. Those quarterbacks get hot. And that's a little bit low, I think, for Tom Brady, especially coming off a game where he didn't play his best in the red zone. I think, they'll get some extra work this week, probably under Brady. So, maybe they come out better. But right now, if I had to choose one, based on the performances from week 1, I think it goes under. If you have a fumble, oh my goodness, the Chargers fumble on the return. They're going to say he was down. Let's take another look at that. It's a 10-7 ball game. 11:29 left in the second quarter. Chargers and Chiefs in the division battle. They gave us a good one this week. Let's move on to the next game. We have the Carolina Panthers and the New York Giants. The spread is 2 in this one. The Giants are favored by 2. Most of the people are betting with Carolina, just slightly, almost 50-50. In this game, you have, over the last 10 between the two teams, Carolina and Giants are 5-5 apiece. Against the spread, though, the Giants are up 7-3. Overs and unders has went 6-4 in this one. 6 being over.
I'm back.
Oh, you back? Yeah, 6 being over, 4 being under. The Carolina Panthers is averaging 24.2 points against the New York Giants. The New York Giants is averaging 22.8 against the Carolina Panthers. Rushing against the New York Giants in the last 10 games, the Carolina Panthers is averaging 136 yards per game. The New York Giants 115. Pass attempts. against the New York Giants. The Carolina Panthers is averaging 33 pass attempts. Giants 33 pass attempts. Passing yards 216 Carolina, 213 Giants. The total yards, the Carolina up in this one, 352. Giants 328. That was called not a fumble. Chargers retain the ball. So right now, Carolina is up in score. They scored more. They ran more pass attempts, more passing yards slightly. Total yards slightly to Carolina. Turnovers. The Giants have turned the ball over more than the Carolina Panthers. So Carolina seems to have an advantage going in this one. Again, the spread is 2. The over-under in this one is 43.5 on it. So you can imagine a lot of people were betting over on this. Now,
I would bet over 2 in that game simply because we seen the weakness Saquon had last week.
I might agree with you on that. I might agree with you
Saquon
on that.
Is back. So they gonna put up some numbers. Saquon is back. You know what I'm saying? They gave me that last week. I mean, who could second guess that guy after that game? I mean, like, I haven't seen Saquon go off like that in a couple seasons.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I think that game definitely goes over 42.5.
I totally agree. So now, just giving y'all some rundown on Carolina's over and under history. Carolina is 0-8 in their last 8 games against the spread. The total was done over in 7 of Carolina's last 9 games. Carolina is also 0-8 straight up in their last 8 games. They haven't won a game in 8 games. Carolina is 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games against the Giants. Total has gone over in Carolina's last 5 games on the road. The total has gone over in 4 of Carolina's last 5 games when playing on the road against the Giants. Carolina is 0-5 in their last 5 games against the opponent. In the NFC, Carolina is 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games against an opponent in the National Football Conference Eastern Division. Carolina is also 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games in September. So, Carolina is not playing well against the spread over the last 8 games, or at all anyway. In any way that you slice it, they're not playing well. So, moving right along to the New York Giants. New York Giants is 1-6 in their last 7 games against the spread. Total has gone under in 10 of the New York Giants' last 12 games. Giants 1-6 in their last 7 games. The total has gone over in 8 of the last 12 games against the Carolina Panthers. So you might want to expect the over. You might be right on that one, big son. The total has gone over. The total has gone under in 5 of the New York Giants' last 5 games at home. The total has gone over in 4 of the New York Giants' last 5 games when playing at home against Carolina. So against Carolina, they seem to, these teams seem to like to gun it out, and the total goes over. They get each other to like to duke it out, I guess. Shootout, old-fashioned shootouts.
Bro, that boy Saquon had 18 carries on 164 yards. That's 9.1 average. Add a touchdown to go with it. That's almost 10 yards a carry. Do y'all hear that out there? 10 yards a carry. What are they going to do with that? Please, somebody tell me. Tell me what they going to do with that.
I agree with you, big son.
I mean, I'm not, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to down Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like, they not to be regular. Well, they did score 24 points last week. You know what I'm saying? But the big but is Christian McCaffrey had 10 carries on 33 yards. Like, that's not winning formation. That's not winning formula. I can't go with that. Nor did Baker Mayfield. Now, we know Baker Mayfield has better games than this, but he's with a new mob, so it's going to be different.
I agree.
Baker Mayfield only had 1 touchdown out the whole game. And he was 16 for 27, 235 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Like, so you 1 for 1, my guy.
I totally agree. As far as injuries in that game,
only thing I could take away from that was Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson had a monstrous game. 5 receptions, 102 yards, and a touchdown. So it's basically like 20 yards per play. You know what I'm saying? So he had a big game. But other than that, I mean, where else is your shine? You got to shine.
I totally agree. And as far as injuries in that,
I would go over.
Yeah, okay, you would go over for sure. No, I was just going to run through the injuries. Marcus Hayes, linebacker for the Carolina Panthers, is the only one that's injured that's not on the injury reserve list. For the Giants, their list is a little bit bigger. You got Azeez Ojulari, linebacker. He's questionable. He's on the injury. He's on the injury report. Aaron Robinson, the cornerback, he's out Sunday with an appendix. You have Kayvon Thibodeau, the rookie, defensive end. He is questionable with a knee injury. You have Wan'Dale Robinson. Left the game against Carolina. He's questionable. Left the last game, the first game that the Giants played. He left that game with a knee injury. And Dane Belton, the safety, is questionable for against Carolina with a collarbone injury. So, seems like both teams are fairly healthy going into this one. Giants seem to be a little bit more injured than the Chiefs. Than the Panthers. I was just looking at the Chiefs, so that's why. Kelsey with the catch. Speaking of the Chiefs, Kelsey with the catch. Khalil Mack with the Chargers. They seem to be doing a good job on them thus far. It's a 7-10 ball game. 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Patrick Mahomes back to pass. Throws a short pass to Harmon. He makes a mad miss. He gets up for an 8-yard gain. Moving right along. Got the Jets and the Cleveland Browns this week. Battling it out. Start with the injuries. See who's going to be on the field for both teams and who is not. For the New York Jets, you have John Franklin Myers, questionable against Cleveland with a toe. Jordan Whitehead, safety, questionable against Cleveland with an ankle. Punter, Braden Mann, is questionable against Cleveland with a back injury. And then Zach Wilson is out for the first 3 games of the season with a knee injury. I guess that's why we've been seeing Joe Flacco. How did Flacco play? Could we pull Flacco's numbers? See what his numbers look like in the first game. Let me see what we got. I might have him here. I think I got him right here. Yeah, Flacco. First game he passed the ball pretty well. 295 passing yards in the game. That was pretty good for Flacco. Okay, so that's who's injured for the New York Jets. Let's go through the Cleveland Browns injuries. You got Jack Conklin. It's questionable against the New York Jets Sunday. Chris Hubbard is also questionable to tackle. You got 2 tackles questionable for the Cleveland Browns. I don't know how that's going to work for their rushing game. Of course, you got Deshaun Watson suspended for the first 11 games of the regular season. So you could deal with that. So right now, Cleveland got 2 tackles and Deshaun Watson. That's the only 3 that they got that's not on the injury reserve list. The New York Jets had a defensive end, a safety, a punter, and of course their quarterback Zach Wilson is out in this one. The spread in this game is 6.5 for Cleveland, minus 6.5 the Jets, plus 6.5. The over-under is really low. 39.5 is the over-under in this one. That is a low.
I will take it.
That is a
I will take it.
That is a low over and under. My. So speaking of over and unders, let's see how these teams have performed against each other. If we could pull those up. Okay. Over the last 10 games, the Cleveland Browns are 4-6 against the New York Jets. The New York Jets are 6-4. Against the spread has actually gone over in 6 of the last 10 games between the two. Sorry, the spread has not gone over in the last 10. The spread has gone under. The spread has actually gone under in 7 of the last 10 games between the two. So that's how these teams have performed when performing against each other. The New York Jets has rushed the ball slightly a little bit more than Cleveland, surprisingly. The New York Jets has actually outscored Cleveland 20 to 18 over the last 10 games, surprisingly. Cleveland Browns have outpassed the New York Jets. Total yards go slightly to the Cleveland Browns, and turnovers, Cleveland has turned the ball over slightly more than the New York Jets. 1.9 to 1.2 over the last 10 games. New York Jets are 16-3 against the spread over the last 19 games. Total has gone over 10 of the New York Jets' last 15 games. New York Jets are 1-6 straight up in their last 7 games. New York Jets are 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 games against Cleveland. New York Jets are 6-2 straight up in their last 8 games against Cleveland. The New York Jets are 1-7 straight up in the last 8 games on the road. So they're not a good road team, I guess. You could say that. The New York Jets, 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 games. We're playing on the road against Cleveland, though. So how ironic is that? New York Jets, 5-15 straight up in their last 20 games against opponents in the American Football Conference, AFC. Total has gone under in 7 of the last 9 games against a AFC opponent.
See? Told you. That's why I said I'm going under.
That's a low under. The Jets are 0-7 against the spread in their last 7 games played in September. My. 0-7. Okay, on to the Cleveland Browns. See if they got a better portfolio, per se. Cleveland Browns, 3-6 against the spread in their last 9 games. The total has gone under in 4 of Cleveland's last 5 games, so they're not scoring a lot of points either. The total has gone under in 4 of Cleveland's last 5 games against the Jets. The total has gone under in 5 of Cleveland's last 6 games at home. Cleveland Browns are 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 games. We're playing at home against the Jets. So they haven't beat the Jets. The Jets has their number. Cleveland is 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 games against an AFC opponent. The total has gone under in 6 of Cleveland's last 8 games against an opponent in the AFC East division. So when they play whoever's in the East, the Jets, the Patriots, it always seems to go under 6 out of the last 8 times. Cleveland, 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games played in September, though. Cleveland, 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games on Sunday. So, you got some things going on. They start fast. They're 5-1 in September. They seem to start fast. That seemed to be working out. So I don't know. I would pick right now, and I think I would pick the Jets. But you do got a veteran quarterback. But that 6.5, that 6.5 is juicy. That 6.5 is juicy. I'm not sure Cleveland can beat anybody by 6.5. You know. Last week, what did Cleveland do last week?
Cleveland scored points last week.
They did.
They scored 26.
They beat Carolina 26-24.
Yeah, they scored points last week, so they can score.
But can they win by 6?
As their quarterback
is the question. Win by 6.
Against the Jets. The Jets lost big time last week, but that was the Ravens.
Oh, yeah, they lost, 9-24. Lost by 15. Yeah, so I think quite possibly, especially without. But Cleveland is not the Ravens. We know that. We know that. We got a 2nd and 8 in the Chiefs game. Got to run up the middle from Kelly. Make it a 3rd and short. Moving on to the next game. This one should be a good one. 2 good franchises. New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh at home is getting points. They're getting 2. New England is -2 in this one on the road in Pittsburgh. The over-under, another low over-under. It seemed to be the theme this week. 40. 40. That seemed to be the theme. 40 in the over and under this week for the Steelers and the Patriots. Steelers in
I'm going over
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going over in that one.
Yeah, might have to go over in that one. Might have to go over.
I mean, why would you not go over? You know, I mean, the Patriots, even though they scored 7 points last week, this is the Patriots we talking about. They ain't scoring those 7 points this week.
Right.
Guarantee you that.
Right.
It'll be way over that. Bill ain't going like that.
Right. I can see that.
Mike Tomlin might actually want his team to score more than 23 points. He don't want it to go to overtime again. So I can see over in that.
Yeah. Let's go through the injury report. For the New England Patriots, Adrian Phillips, their safety is out. The linebacker, Jawan Bentley, he is questionable with a toe injury. You have Mac Jones, the quarterback, questionable with a back injury. Joshua Bledsoe, the safety, questionable with a groin injury. Sean Wade, cornerback, questionable with an ankle injury. So that's New England. They seem to have some injuries. So you got a safety. You have Mac Jones, your quarterback, is on the injury report with a back injury. It's not, I mean, it ain't easy to throw when your back hurt. You got Joshua Bledsoe. He's another safety. Then you have a corner, Sean Wade. So their secondary seems to be banged up a little bit for the Patriots. So you might be right on that over. And now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you have Mason Cole, left last game Sunday, and he has an ankle injury. You have cornerback. Mason Cole is the center. Cornerback. Left last game Sunday with an ankle injury as well. You have Robert Spillane, linebacker. Questionable Sunday with an eye injury. Don't see those much on the injury report. Najee Harris is upgraded to probable. He didn't play in the first game. He's upgraded to, well, maybe not. I don't know if he played. Let me see if he played in the first game. But he's upgraded to probable. Maybe he wasn't probable at first. Either way, he's upgraded to probable against the New England Patriots. They need Najee Harris out there. You have a 4th down. Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I agree. He's a big part of the game.
Yeah, Justin Herbert couldn't get the first down on that one. You got a 4th down for the Chargers. It looked like they might try to go for it. I don't know if this is the right call here. No, I wouldn't. End of the half, no. They're going to punt. Play the clock, you're up. Why would you try to go for it there? 10-7 Chargers. 1:23 left in the second quarter. That one is approaching halftime. Now, moving right along. Did we get a prediction on the Pittsburgh game?
Yeah, I'm going.
Should I get some stats? Should I get some more stats? No more stats.
Going over.
You going over? But let's see.
Yep,
In New England's last 5 games. Sorry. In their last 5 games on the road, Let's see if we can get some stats up here. New England, the total has gone under in 4 of New England's last 5 games in September. The total has gone over in 4 of New England's last 5 games, period, though. Against Pittsburgh, they are 4-1 in the last 5 games.
Above all else, guard your heart. So everything you do.
You got Big Son out there. You got Big Son. Shout out to Big Son. The total has gone under in 4 of New England's last 5 games we're playing on the road against Pittsburgh. So, seems to be a trend of under on New England's side, except their last 5 games. They seem to be scoring points because it's been over 4 of the last 5 games. Pittsburgh 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 games. Total has gone under in last 6 games against New England. Pittsburgh 6-0-1 straight up in their last 7 games at home. Pittsburgh 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 games against their opponent in the American Football Conference. The American Football Conference.
She was calling me back.
You know. Pittsburgh 6-2 in their last 8 games in September. Played in September. So you never know how it's going to go down with Pittsburgh. You never know how it's going to go down. Trying to figure out what happened to the game here. Let's see if we can get this back on up. See if we can get this back on up, baby. Back on up. Yes, indeed. So, moving right along. You got the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. That's going to be a good one this week. Woo! Get to see if Miami's for real. Miami is for real. Real in the field. See how real Miami is. They real in the field. If they real in the
call it
field.
the game of the week. That would have to be the game of the week right there.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the other matchups that could be the game of the week.
Yeah. Absolutely. Definitely game of the week.
2 mobile quarterbacks. You know.
So, but
one got decent running games.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, between the two. Let's see what we got between the two. Against each other, at least. Start with the injury report. See who on the injury report. See if we can start with this injury report. We're going to get your game back up. The Chiefs game back up in a second. Jesse Armstead for the Miami Dolphins. We'll start with them. Miami is in Baltimore this week. The spread. Vegas sees Baltimore minus 3.5. Minus 3.5 against the Miami Dolphins. Miami is getting 3.5 points. The spread in this one is 44.5. I think that one might go over. Because that's a low spread for a Baltimore Raven team. And I think a Miami Dolphin team, gorgeous of speed all over the place. I think that might be a little low, but I'm not going to give my prediction as of yet. I might wait until later on in the week to give a little prediction. But that does seem a little low in my estimation for 2 good teams. Now, you got the Patriot on the injury report. You got tackle Tyron Armstead. It's probable for Baltimore. Eric Rowe, also probable for Baltimore. You got Cethian Carter, the tight end. Left last game, questionable. Tackle, Greg Little. He is also questionable. Austin Jackson, left last game, and he is questionable against Baltimore. Running back, Salvon Ahmed. He is questionable with a heel injury. Tackle Tanner Connor. He is also questionable with a knee injury. And that's for the Miami Dolphins. They seem to have, so when you scan it all and look at it all from a bird's eye view, you have a tackle, you have three tackles for the Miami Dolphins who are on the injury report. You have a tight end, backup tight end. You have three tight ends. One of them, Adam Sheen, is on injured reserve with a knee. Then you got Ethan Carter, and you also got Tanner Connor. So you have three tight ends virtually, three tackles, a linebacker who's on injured reserve. You got Cedric Wilson, which is the big pickup from the Cowboys. He's also questionable with a toe. I would expect that toe to affect him in some type of way. Eric Rowe is also questionable with a pec. So I expect that pectoral to affect them in some type of way too. Baltimore Ravens. Marcus Peters is questionable against Miami. Ronnie Stanley is also questionable. You have J.K. Dobbins, upgraded to probable with a knee. And everyone else is injury reserve and out indefinitely. So you got Marcus Peters, you got J.K. Dobbins, two big contributors to their team, and you got Patrick Ricard, running back. So you got two running backs, a corner, a tackle in Ronnie Stanley. So, yes. You got it going on. Got it going on over there. You know. Definitely got it going on.
And that's on the Dolphin side?
That's on the Dolphin side, yep. Absolutely.
That's not a good look. That's three tackles. That's possibly two.
No, not on the Dolphin side. That is on the Raven side.
Ooh, still not good.
That is on the Raven side. Pardon my...
You know.
That is on the Raven side. Try to get this game back up for the people on Instagram. We can line this thing on it. Line this thing on up. Yep. So we got the game back on up for the people. Y'all listening live with us. The Nature Show. Overs and unders. Giving y'all the rundown for this week in sports. And that was the Baltimore Ravens versus the Miami Dolphins. Again, this spread here is a 3.5 point spread. Miami receiving the points. Baltimore's minus in this one. Over 44.5 in this one. Most of the people are actually betting with Miami to win this with the points. A lot of people taking the points. I don't know. I might have to lean towards Baltimore with that 3.5, minus 3.5. I don't know.
Yeah. And people don't get me wrong, it looks enticing, but the reason why I say Baltimore is because they have those tackles missing, which means Lamar Odom is going to put them wheels on the road.
Yeah.
And get some road miles, if you know what I mean. He's not going to be able to sit comfortable in the pocket, and he knows that. So he's going to put them, get them wheels on the road.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. So in the next game, you got the Jaguars and the Colts. Colts are in Jacksonville for this one. We'll pull some numbers up.
Well,
As soon as I can get them up.
I mean, just off top, before anything, I would say that Jacksonville probably has a chance to win this game. After covering their game last week against Washington, they look like a team that could have possibly beat Washington. I mean, the Colts aren't slouches either with a Matty Ice on their side now, and he seems to have found himself a home and settle right in with them, you know, so you can't just assume just because they had a tie last week that Matt's going to go quiet. He had 352 yards, even though he had one touchdown, and not to forget Taylor had 161 yards on 31 carries with touchdown. So they're going to be a problem.
I totally agree. In this one, we're going to go through the injuries. Colts, DeForest Buckner, one injury report. That's a big name with a hip injury. Darius Leonard, that's a big name. Questionable Sunday with a back injury. Michael Pittman Jr., another big name. Questionable Sunday with a quad. Alec Pierce, wide receiver. Questionable Sunday with a concussion. He's in concussion protocol. So, bird's eye view. You got a defensive tackle, probably your best one. Not probably, I mean, I would guess he's the best one on the team. He's pretty good. DeForest Buckner. Then you had Darius Leonard, who is hurt as well. That's a huge one. He's questionable now. So, I mean, questionable is not out. So, he might be on the field, but he will be injured, playing injured. And then you got Michael Pittman Jr., who's also questionable with a quad injury. I would expect that to affect him. Alex Pierce on a concussion. If he comes back healthy, then I say let him back out there. You got Ryan Fitzpatrick and Richard Sherman guest on the panels on the game for the Chiefs tonight. Interesting. Moving right along with the Jaguars injuries right now, they don't have any outside of anyone on injured reserve, which is George Smith and Willie Johnson. But other than that, they're healthy. This one might be an upset. Indianapolis, most of the people are betting with Indianapolis, 69% to 31%. I think the Jags might get them. This might be our upset. Might got our first upset of the day.
I don't know, man. I think the Jags can't get them, but they just can't sleep on Matt Ryan, who put up way more yards than Carson Wentz did.
I agree.
Not way more, but he put up more yards.
I agree.
It wasn't significant, you know, but he put up more yards than Carson Wentz, I believe. Let me look. Let me not. I mean, it wasn't that much. Carson Wentz put up 313. So, and one. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. They might be a little bad off on this one. I mean, he put up 352 last week and lost. I think that number's going to rise.
I agree. But see, the thing is, when you look at the numbers between the two, over the last 10 games, Jacksonville is actually up in this series, 6-4. Against the spread, the Colts are 1-8 against the Jags. 1-8-1. That means the Jags are 8-1 against the spread. And guess who's getting points tomorrow? Sunday, sorry. The Indianapolis Colts are favored by 3.5. I don't know if I bet with the Colts against the spread, knowing that they won 8-1 with the Jags, even as enticing as it may look. I'm not sure I'm betting that. Against the spread, at least. They're 1-8-1. So, that would be my gripe with that one. The Jags are averaging 22 points. The Colts 17 in this series. The Jags are passing for 243 yards in the last 10. And the Colts 189. total yards favorites the Jags by plus. The Jags are plus 18 in total yards, 340 to 322. Colts, more turnovers than the Jags. Almost double. 1.4 for the Colts, 0.8 for the Jags in this one against each other. So, I don't know. I think this might be the upset. They got the over-under set at 45 in this one. Very interesting. Very interesting. It's going to be a good game between the two. We're going to move right along to the next one, on to the next game.
I would go over in that one.
Over the 45?
Yeah.
I did think the Jaguars the offense did play well, so I wouldn't surprise me if it went over 45. Next game, Washington, Detroit. Let's read off some injury report and some numbers. Let's get it going. Nitty gritty. The nitty gritty. On the injury report for Washington, you got Wes Schweitzer, Cameron Curl. It's questionable with a thumb. Wes Schweitzer actually left last game with a knee injury. Mathis out for the season, of course. Cole Turner, the tight end, is questionable Sunday with a hamstring injury. That seems to be all the injuries for Washington. And I don't even see Chase Young on the injury report. Is he playing this week? Is he playing? Is he playing this week? Not to get everybody hyped. I'm not trying to start the rumors, but he's not on the injury report. I'm looking at it. I don't see Chase Young on it.
I think he's on the PUP list.
Okay, he's on the PUP list. Okay. Now, in this one, you got for the Detroit Lions, Michael Brockers is questionable Sunday with a knee. Taylor Decker, the tackle, is probable Sunday, the calf. Frank Ragnow is questionable with a growing injury for Sunday's game against Washington. Omani Arnue, questionable, cornerback. It's undisclosed. Julian Akawa, questionable with a leg injury, the defensive tackle. DeAndre Swift is probable Sunday with an ankle injury, but that is very interesting because they definitely need Swift to win this game. EF2, Melfonwu, questionable with a hamstring injury, the cornerback for Detroit. And Tommy Creamer, questionable with the back injury. He's a guard. Washington and Detroit. Washington has historically beat up on Detroit, but I don't know about the last. Yeah, Washington is 7-1-2 in their last 10 games against the spread. Washington's actually performing well against the spread. The total has gone under in 9 of Washington's last 13 games. Washington is 2-4 straight up in their last 6 games. Washington is 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games against Detroit specifically. Washington is 1-5 in their last 1-4 in their last 5 games playing on the road against Detroit. Washington is 1-4 in their last 5 games against NFC conference opponents. Washington is 1-5 in their last 6 games against an opponent in the National Football Conference Northern Division. Washington is 1-5 in their last 6 games played in September. The total has gone under in 8 of 11 of Washington's last 11 games. Detroit, 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. Wow. Never would have guessed that. Detroit has gone over in 5 of Detroit's last 7 games. Detroit is 3-16-1 straight up in their last 20 games. The total has gone under in 8 of the last 11 games for Detroit. Detroit is 5-0 in their last 5 games at home. Never would have guessed that. Detroit 4-1 in their last 5 games with playing at home against Washington. Detroit 3-13 in their last 16 games against an NFC opponent. The total has gone over in 7 of Detroit's last 8 games against an opponent in the NFC East. Detroit 1-7 straight up in their last 8 games played in December. The total has gone under in 6 of Detroit's last 9 games played in week 2. So, looking at everything, I think Washington, the spread, Detroit is favored by 2, minus 1.5 in this. Most of the people are actually betting with Detroit. 69%. The over-under is pretty high.
Sounds like a trap game.
This is the first over.
Like a trap game.
Yeah, this is the first over and under that is pretty high though. It's 48.5 on the over and under. So that's 24-24. 3 touchdowns and a field goal for each team. Herbert throws it. Eckler makes a man miss. He's up the sideline down to the 43-yard line. Yeah. So this one is getting interesting. Definitely. Definitely. The next game on the list, Seattle and San Francisco. Seattle coming off the short week after the Monday Nighter. You got them at 41 is the over-under in that one. San Francisco favored by 8.5. I don't know that San Francisco... Oh! It was tip ball at the line. I don't know that San Francisco wins by 8.5. That's a lot of... I mean, that's a big spread. Seattle wasn't bad. Seattle won. Now, they did give up a lot of points in the red zone. I mean, sorry, they did stop. Meaning Denver gave up a lot of points in the red zone. But I don't know that San Francisco beats them by 8.5. And I'm not saying they won't. That's a big spread there. Most of the people betting with Seattle. To the tune of 61%. So... Herbert back to pass, he throws, he has a man, looks like he's down to the 26-yard line. So yeah, I don't know. Seattle 5-2 in their last 7 games. Total's gone over Seattle's last 7 games. Seattle was 5-2 in their last 7 games. That's Kelly for the run for San Diego. San Diego's approaching the red zone. So I keep saying San Diego. Los Angeles is approaching the red zone. I've said San Diego all day today. It's just, we used to it. Y'all can't blame us. Los Angeles.
It's the nature, baby.
Yeah, it's the nature. Everybody got their original names and teams and their original cities with us. They the St. Louis Rams. They not even...
You know what I'm saying? Los Angeles Raiders.
Yeah,
You know?
so, yeah. We gonna switch it up. You got a 3rd and 1 in this Chargers game against the Chiefs. They approaching the red zone. They got a tight set on this one, man in motion. Pitches it out to Eckler. Eckler does not get got the first. Does not get the first. Does not get the first. He is short. He is short. He is short. Eckler ends up short. He looks like he tried his best. Oh no, he is short, definitely. Definitely short. You got a 4th and 1 on this one. 10:48 left in the game for the Chargers and Chiefs. 4th and 1. Hands it off to Eckler. Eckler looks like he gets the first this time.
You gotta go big after you get the first, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. He definitely got it. He definitely got it.
Trying to get a touchdown, man.
Yeah. So, you got Seattle and San Francisco. Of course, we had that 8.5 point spread for San Francisco. San Francisco actually lost to Chicago last week. They throwing in the end zone, touchdown, Chargers. Touchdown, Chargers. Yep. San Francisco actually lost last week to Seattle. I think it was Mike Williams on the touchdown. Is it? Yo, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Does he get his hip in?
No, that's a touchdown.
It looks like his hip is in. It looks like his hip is in. Yep, they're kicking the field goal.
Yeah, that's for sure a touchdown.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. San Francisco. Eight and a half point favorites again over Seattle. I think a lot of people betting with Seattle on this one. I mean, I don't especially after San Francisco lost to Chicago last week by 9. Not sure where Vegas got that from. But, hey, they got faith in Trey Lance, obviously. They think he's going to light it up. This is a division game as well, so for them to, just guess that amount, that many points on a division game, I don't know. On this one, Seattle's actually 8-2 in the last 10 games against San Francisco. Straight up, 8-2. Who would have guessed that? The total has gone over in 5 of the last 7 games. I can see that. Seattle, 5-2 in their last 7 games total. Seattle, 15-5 against the spread in their last 20 games against San Francisco. San Francisco, 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games. Total has gone under in 8 of San Francisco's last 9 games. San Francisco, 9-4 straight up in their last 13 games. So San Francisco seemed to be playing well in their last 13, but that was with Garoppolo at quarterback. They wanted to go to Lance. Hasn't worked out thus far. Hasn't worked out thus far. Especially with you losing to the Bears. You know.
Yeah, not looking too good.
Next game on the list. You have the Rams at home against the Falcons. Rams 10-point favorites in this one. I don't know that a Marcus Mariota team loses by 10. They're pretty good. Marcus Mariota's pretty good. In my opinion. I know a lot of people don't feel that way.
No, I think Marcus Mariota's pretty good. And he solidified his position. And he's playing in his hometown. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Marcus, at 10 points, that's a lot. I know they're playing the Super Bowl champions. Super Bowl champions coming off a bad loss. But I don't know that Mahomes going deep. It is intercepted. It's a flag on the play. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Interception by Derwin James. But you got a flag on the play. You got a flag on the play. Flag on the play. Holding, offense, pass interference, defense, penalties offset. Take it on back. Take it on back. Definitely was pass interference. He got him early. He got him way early. Definitely was pass interference. The holding was on Joey Bosa. He definitely held Joey Bosa for sure. You know. Definitely held Joey Bosa. So, you got on the Rams game, Rams and Falcons, Patrick Mahomes did throw an interception this time. Came right back the very next play and threw the pick. It doesn't look good for the Chiefs. That was a very bad pass by Mahomes. A very bad
Might
pass.
not be so. Might not be so. Patrick might get saved.
That was not a pick. That was not a pick. He's going to get saved. He's going to get saved. Them hands opened up. Them hands opened up. Yeah, he's rolling on the... I don't know. They might give it to him. They might give it to him. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. It's close. It's close. Nah, it's on the ground. It's on the ground. It's on the ground. It's on the ground. I would call it on the ground. I would call it on the ground. They're going to have to review that. They're going to have to review that. Yeah, they're going to have to review that one there. It's a good call. Good call. Great game going on so far. Great game. See, the thing is, it's the third quarter. So for me, at least, I wouldn't, I would tell my quarterback if I was Andy Reid, hey, it's third quarter. That time. Understand, get us right back in the game. It's a 3-point game again. That's all. Concentrate on getting 7. You can't get 10 points at one time. You cannot get 10 points at one time.
Yeah.
So, just concentrate on the 7 you can get right now. You get that, move on to the next play. Back to the Rams and the Falcons on this one. You got the Rams with a 10-point favorite at home to the Falcons. A lot of the people are betting with the Rams with that 10 points too. They like that 10 points. 53% of the people betting with the Rams on this 10 points.
Well, people, I'm here to tell you that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, a lot of people like the Rams. Well, slightly a lot. More than half. Actually, and it's crazy you said that, Big Son, the Falcons are actually 7-3 against the Rams in the last 10 games. Yep. Over and under in this game is 46.5. Against the spread, they have gone over in the last 10 games. 7 of the last 10 games, these teams, when they meet, they go over. They gun it out. They gun it out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they will gun it out. The stats don't lie.
On the injury report, you had Damian Williams, the running back, who would be going up, the running back from the Chiefs. What did they call it? They called it an incomplete. They called it an incomplete. He did not get the pick. Oh, he did? Yeah, he did not get the pick. 2nd and 10. Mahomes gets another shot. Incomplete pass. Throws it. Mahomes to Kelsey. Up the middle. Catch. No, it wasn't Kelsey. It was whoever that was. It's the tight end. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's a good game so far. Good game so far. Good night, y'all know. Our first gambling Thursday, baby. Gambling Thursday.
Sure. First night of the Nature's Over and Unders. You know what I'm saying? We got big blocks. We're going to feel every week for y'all.
Yes, indeed.
So don't forget. Tune in. Stay tuned. Soon we're going to have the Saturday picks. We haven't really got them together yet, so we ain't going to throw the show out there. But soon it's coming. So all you Saturday ballers, fear not, we'll have those picks for you as well.
Yeah, yes indeed, yes indeed, yes indeed, yes indeed. Yes indeed. It's coming, baby. It's coming. We're giving y'all that good info. You know, that good info that you need to make your game right. Make your picks right. Kansas City back to pass. Throw it over the middle. It is a catch. Oh, he breaks a tackle. Charles, that was a layer. He breaks a tackle. Kansas City seemed to have woke up on this drive. They down by 10. It's 8:11 left in the third quarter. They still working it out. They are still working it out.
And they better do something at 17-7.
Yeah.
You know?
Mahomes back to pass.
Uh-oh.
Looks, he's scrambling. And he throws it away. He throws it away.
Mm-hmm.
You know. It's a good game. Good game thus far. Good grind. Good grind. We're going to get back to the games for y'all.
The question is going to come up, do they need Tyreek Hill? I mean, they got to answer that question this game.
That is the question.
Against a valid opponent.
That is definitely the question. What do y'all feel out there? Y'all leave your comments under on the YouTube, Instagram, wherever you watching. Oh, drop. We got a drop by Nicole Hardman. These are the 3rd and 10 for the Chiefs. Third and 10 for the Chiefs. Getting back to the games. The Falcons are actually 7-3 in the last 10 against the Rams. They have pretty much dominated the series. Falcons winning 4 straight up in the last 5 games. Mahomes back to pass on the 3rd and 10. He hits his back foot. He looks. He scrambles. He's going for the end zone. Touchdown. Kansas City Chiefs.
On the Watson.
Wow. Wow. Hey, you gotta concentrate on 7, right? That's what we said, right?
Better.
Mahomes put that one on the money. Oh my goodness, on the money. Can't hate on that.
Yeah.
14-17. Chiefs Chargers.
Very shifty.
Atlanta 4-13 in their last 17 games. Atlanta 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games. Sorry, 4-13 in their last 17 games against opponents in the NFC. But they're 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games against the Rams. 7-3 in the last 10. So they got Atlanta has the Falcons number. I mean the Rams number thus far. But the Rams are the Super Bowl champs. So that's just to give you some insight. Right now, most of the people betting with the Rams, but I don't know if the Rams can beat them by 10. That's asking a lot. That is asking a lot.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I really don't. You know what I'm saying?
Raiders. And the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams coming off a loss. Well, no, the Raiders are both teams coming off a loss from last week. There are questions about Kyler Murray starting to arise, which we haven't heard before. So can this team take them to the promised land this year? Both teams 0-1 right now.
Oh, Kyler.
Over the last 10 games, well, 3 games, last 7 games, the Raiders are 4-3. Last time these two teams met, it was in 2018, November 2018. The Arizona Cardinals lost to the Raiders 23-21. Cardinals was at home. Over under in that game was 41. This game seems to be a lot different. Over under in this game, 51. It's the highest over under so far.
I mean, with valid reasons.
Yeah. Cardinals. Injury report is extensive. Colt McCoy, injured reserve with a calf. J.J. Watt, Zach Ertz, probable. J.J. Watt, questionable. DeAndre Hopkins, out first 6 games with a suspension. Justin Pugh, questionable. Andy Isabella, wide receiver, questionable. Trayvon Mullen, cornerback, questionable with a toe. Jalen Thompson is questionable as well. He's a safety. Rondale Moore, the wide receiver, is questionable with a hamstring. So, bird's eye effect. You got a tight end. You have a corner. You have J.J. Watt. Hurts is probable with a calf. Calf ain't too bad. He can play for that. Play through that. But you got Jalen Thompson, a safety. And then Rondale Moore. So you got 2 wide receivers with Hopkins and Moore out. And Ertz, probable, who's nursing an injury. Isabella, questionable with a back. So you got some wide receivers on here. You got a lot of wide receivers on here. And then a corner and 2 skill position players. Tight ends and wide receivers. Herbert back to pass, incomplete on the 3rd down and 2. The Chargers have to punt. They go 3 and out. 3 and out. Moving right along. This show, the overs and unders, baby. Overs and unders. Whichever you want to do, however you want to kick it, however you want to twirl.
That's right. Brought to you by the NSN, baby. Nothing but the Nature Sports Network. Bad Miss Sid. Every Thursday night, 7. I believe we start at 7:30 or 7:45 to be quite frank. I'm going to say 7:45. Don't want people tuning in and don't have nothing to tune into.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Like to come on a little bit before the game, you know, get your numbers in for you. And that's for everything, you know. You tiptoe around it.
Absolutely. So we had 46. Sorry. We had a Houston Texans and the Denver Broncos. 46 is the spread in that one. That's where the 46 came from. Denver favored by 10 in that game. I don't know about that. I mean, we all questioning the 10s. One of these somebody gonna cover this 10. Do you think Denver got it in them to cover it against Houston?
I mean, yeah, I think that might come more of a shootout. Like, people got to realize that Pete Carroll knows Russell. You know what I'm saying? So that's why what happened in that game happened. But the Texans don't know Russell. He can get real ugly in that game.
Yeah, Denver.
I think, personally.
Denver has the advantage pretty much. Over the last 10 games, Denver has the advantage in every single category except for rushing yards. Pass attempts, pass yards, total yards, turnovers, pass, record against the spread, everything. Everything. Houston, 4-1 in their last 5 games against the spread. Total has gone over in Houston's last 6 games. Houston is 3-13-1. Straight up in their last 17 games. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Oh, Kansas City with the pass on the outside court. 8-yard game. Houston, 5-2. 5-2 in their last 7 games against an AFC opponent against the spread. Total has gone over in 5 of Houston's last 6 games against an AFC West opponent. Denver, 1-4 in their last 5 games straight up. No, against the spread. Sorry, against the spread. Let me correct that. Denver, the total has gone over in 9 of Denver's last 12 games. Mahomes with a second down, hands it off. You got a 3rd and short for the Kansas City Chiefs in this one. Denver, 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 games at home. Denver, 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games against an opponent in the AFC South Division. The total has gone under in 5 of Denver's last 5 games played in September. Mahomes was hit as he throwed on a 3rd down. You got a 4th and 1. Kansas City will have to punt. He had a man open. I can see why he's frustrated. Kyle Van Noy on the pressure. Moving right along. The Dallas Cowboys and the Cincinnati Bengals this week. Got a punt on the play. Caught. Inside the 5 for DeAndre Carter. Chargers up 17-14 in this one. Dallas Cowboys, and Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati is 7 points favorite in this one without Dak Prescott. Cincinnati is favored by 7. The over and under is pretty low though for them to be favored by 7. It's 41.5. Dallas has a good defense. I don't know that Cincinnati beats them by 7. Dallas has a good defense.
They probably do get beat by 7 without that.
But you gotta score something. Well, you right about that. Short fields, turnovers.
Turnovers. You know. I mean,
well,
Dallas, sad to say, Dallas looks real bad when one of their stars go down. You know, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Dallas is actually 5-2. It was another pass. You got a 3rd and 10 for the Chargers backed up in their own territory. It looks like they might have to punt at some point. I mean, it's 3rd and 10. This is a tough 3rd down because you're in your own territory. Well, they're not all the way backed up, though. They're at the 8, the 9. Oh, sack Herbert at the 1. Chris Jones. It's a great play. It's just a great play for Chris Jones. Great play. Oh, man, he didn't even touch him. I mean, the tackle put his arms out there. Chris Jones moved his arms. He didn't even touch him. I mean, Herbert had no shot. Great hand placement for Chris Jones. You cannot tackles. I know y'all in the NFL. And who am I to tell y'all how to play tackle? Y'all are 300 pounds. You got a short punt, a very short punt. Oh my goodness. The Chiefs get the ball at the 35-yard line. They are already in field goal range. That was a turnover. Okay. Back to the games. So, Dallas Cowboys and Cincinnati Bengals is who we were discussing currently. And it's interesting. Interesting, my golly, it is interesting. Cincinnati's 8-1 in their last 9 games, as I just said, against the spread. Total has gone under in 6 of Cincinnati's last 6 games. Cincinnati is 6-3 in their last 9 games straight up. Cincinnati is 2-4 in their last 6 games against Dallas, though. 1-5 in their last 6 games against Dallas. 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games on the road. Cowboys. I mean, none of this really matters. They don't have it. 13-6 in their last 19 games. Oh, might have lost me. Let's reload the station. Get us up. Get everybody back in.